Hi, I'm JoAnn Fastoff, and welcome to How to Write Stuff Better. Hi, JoAnn Fastoff here. Hey, got your cup of coffee? Got your glass of wine? Okay, we're gonna need it. Anyway, today we're gonna talk about balancing humor and drama. Now, a guy walks into a bookstore and he asks the clerk, "Where's the self-help section?" She shrugs and she says, "If I tell you, won't that defeat the purpose?" Let it sink in. Humor is a funny thing. Everyone knows what humor is, but people have yet to learn exactly how it works. Humor is considered by most as something funny, comical, or amusing. But when writing, humor is best used only in fiction or satire. Let me back up. Not so. While we think of comedy as exaggeration or fabrication, effective humor can be just as much engaging as taking a reader someplace they didn't expect to go, like choosing images or words that make readers smile, and especially without even knowing why. And guess what, folks? A smiling reader pays attention and is eager to read on. Now, Netflix produces Orange is the New Black. It's an uncomfortable program due to its awkward subject, and that's women in prison. Can we laugh at this? Of course. But we should remember that this is a drama, and the drama makes the story more potent because of the comic moments. The fact that life in prison can be funny makes the tragedies of these women's lives painful and more haunting. But even if your subject is serious, the subtle use of humor can ease tension and provide a break from difficult moments. My characters use satirical humor a lot. Why? Well, first of all, they take after my family, my friends, and me. I always use satire for comic relief. In The Standing People, a dark tale about illegal logging and human trafficking, FBI Special Agent in Charge Howard Watson has just gotten his butt kicked again by Chinese mercenaries holding 30 young Chinese girls against their will. Now, these girls will later be sold in a human trafficking arrangement. Howard has been waiting anxiously for his Chinese ally to show up and help him out in the situation. And when she finally shows up, Howard asks, "Zhu, what took you so long?" And she replies, drolly, "Laundry." Let that sink in. Now, the goal of adding some humor to a writing project is about something other than becoming the next Dave Barry or Wanda Sykes, unless that's your goal. But the goal is to improve your writing using all the available tools, including humor. So how do we use it correctly? We can use it by sharing funny stories we've heard about other people, whether it's embarrassing, slapstick, or peeing on yourself funny. And see, you can use these as scenes to lighten your story and make readers laugh. And how? By describing something you witnessed and that made you laugh out loud. And by the way, trying to use real people as the basis for comedic characters becomes, whether it's a goofy cousin, a bad temper coworker, or a friend who seems forever derailed by bad luck, you can draw from their personalities or things that happen to them as material for funny moments. Now, personally speaking, my family members always say, "Watch what you say about JoAnn because you might find it in a book." Ha 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 ha. What can I say? Now, a humorous tone in writing is similar. And tone and writing are conveyed by both the choices of the words and the story's narrator. You know the saying, sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it. So in The Smoke Ring, Howard Watson asked a very smart alecky CIA officer in a crowded restaurant how he always manages to snag a table. And the CIA officer answers, "I don't know, Carmen, I guess." What about Mark Twain's famous line, "The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated"? And of course, Police Chief Roy Scheider's character in the movie Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat. Understanding humor is one way of getting to the core of what is to be human. And the use of satirical humor can make reading more attractive to the audience. Breaking up the tension with awkward comments can be a fun character trait. And I want to think so. But as an author, you can use satirical humor to help develop a character. My aim is only to make people smile. And it's a gentle reminder to take life less seriously and to evoke a smile. There are two types of satire: Juvenalian satire and Menippean satire. I always have a problem with that word. But trust me, these two bad boys deal only with personal attacks, which would be sarcasm, and that's not my style. Humor releases tension for characters and the audience or reader when things get too heavy or overwhelming. And throwing in a little humor releases that tension. A lot of the classics do this. Many films also make great use of this, ranging from Casablanca to Die Hard. And Casablanca is a dark story draped around a past romance and the current rise of Nazism. The exchange between police captain Renault and American expatriate nightclub owner Rick Blaine goes like this. Renault: what in heaven's name brought you to Casablanca? Rick: my health. I came to Casablanca for the waters. Renault: what waters? This is the desert. Rick: I was misinformed. Die Hard is a dark action story centered on an NYPD detective, John McClane, and he arrives in Los Angeles intending to reconcile with his estranged wife at a Christmas party of her employer. But McClane immediately becomes a lone hero fighting overwhelming odds against German terrorists. And who can ever forget McClane's character exclaiming to bad guy Hans Gruber via walkie-talkie after killing one of Gruber's henchmen, "Yippee-ki-yay, M.F.er." I really want to say that word, but I just can't. Remember that? Of course you do. And then in the same film, Sergeant Al Powell remarks on seeing Hans Gruber falling to his death from the building, and he says, "Oh, I hope that's not a hostage." The point is that both stories are dark, and humor is thrown in to ease the exhaustion that the reader and viewer are filled with up to this point. If you want your characters to ring true to life, you must splash some humor on them. You don't need to sprinkle it for every character, but you do need to do it for at least one, but several are better. What other types of satirical humor are there? Okay, well, there's farce. And in the movie 9 to 5, 3 female secretaries decide to get revenge on their chauvinist and sexist boss by abducting him for 3 weeks and running the business themselves. Weekend at Bernie's shows fun-loving salespeople invited by their boss Bernie to stay the weekend at his posh beach house. And see, little do they know that Bernie is the perpetrator of a fraud that they've uncovered, and Bernie has arranged to have all of them killed. But the plan backfires and Bernie is killed instead. The colleagues decide not to let a little death spoil their vacation, and they pretend Bernie is still alive, leading to unbelievable hijinks. Another form of humor deals with romance. In Kevin Kwan's book, Crazy Rich Asians, a man meets a woman, the man is crazy rich, and the woman must contend with this and the man's mother. Now, in Boomerang, co-writer Eddie Murphy is a ladies' man who meets a woman who is just like him and gets a taste of his own medicine. In Nora Ephron's screenplay, When Harry Met Sally, college students share a contentious car ride from Chicago to New York, arguing whether men or women can still be friends without sex. Well, then they attempt to be friends without having sex, which becomes an issue between them. Another variety of humor is called black or dark comedy. And see, these stories take a heavy, controversial, disturbing, or generally off-limits subject matter and treat it humorously. For instance, writers Joel and Ethan Cole's Fargo is the story of a car salesman in Minneapolis who gets into massive debt and is so desperate for money that he hires 2 thugs to kidnap his wife. This is only the beginning. Now, humor is necessary because even as dark as you can get, even in a horror flick, you can see all kinds of funny things. Griffin Dunn, director of Practical Magic, said, "When I did American Werewolf in London, people were really upset that there were laughs in a horror movie." Now you can't even make a horror movie without getting laughs. And Mel Brooks's Frankenstein, that's a dark story. But if you add some humor to it, I'll give you an example. Two people outside a door. One is a woman. Cut to the visual of two giant knockers on the door. The man knocks on the door and says simultaneously, looking at the woman, "Wow, large knockers." Of course, she thinks he's talking about her and she smiles. That visual releases a lot of tension, but always be mindful that what some people consider humor, some people do not. Okay, so what do you remember? Once you've got a general idea, the kind of book you want to write, you need to ask yourself this question. Point of view is who telling the story? What are the 4 types of characters? And even if your subject is a serious one, the subtle use of humor can both ease tension and provide what? All right, so the next time we see each other, we're going to talk about motivation. Until then, bye.